Okay, we're over at one of my favorite parks today, but as you can see, all of this creeping thistle has finally gone to seed. Yep, this highly opportunistic plant. A lot of people hate thistle. I kind of understand part of it, but today we're going to talk about all the reasons why I love it, and I'm going to show you how you can make this a part of your everyday lives and how you can help to control it at the same time. So I like to work with all different types of thistle. Of course, milk thistle is the number one. It's the most potent for liver health because of the similarin content in it. All of your thistles are supportive of the liver, not to the same extent, but they're also great diuretics. They do still support the liver. They're full of nutrition. And I even love to use some of them topically. So I like to come out and dig these up and use the roots when they get to this stage, right? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to dig these up and then we're going to take them back and we're going to make some really fun stuff with them so we can teach you how to support your health with all different types of thistle. Hey guys, so today it's just me. Jonathan's not with me right now, but he will be at the end of the month when we go to TADS for the Indie Holistic Living Farm Tour down in Corridon, Indiana. But today I wanted to go over how you can use thistles. Yep, they are such a pain in the butt. But if you know how to use them, you can help to control them a little bit, and you can use them for their nutrition. They're so nutritious for both their nutritional and their medicinal benefits. So if you were at the Indie Holistic Living Farm dinner that we had at Heirloom Acres, then you would have had a version of what we're going to make today. But this is how I practice at the apothecary. Okay, so I like to use a blend of folk medicine with clinical and lots of wild food. So I'm going to show you some recipes that you can use today at home. You know, if you have any type of thistle growing, today we're going to use some creeping thistle. Okay, if you have sow thistle, I love to use sow thistle. You can chop it up, fry it in a pan, like saute it. I use it at the apothecary topically for skin conditions. It's an amazing anti-inflammatory. All my sow thistle's gone. I've already used it. So if anybody has any sow thistle blooming and you want to have me come get it, just let me know. But today I'm going to show you some variations of what you can do with just making some juices with your thistle, okay? So right now we're using some creeping thistle, and I like to harvest it when this one's a young one, so we did a young one that we're gonna make some juices out of, okay? So you'll see where we harvested a bunch of the old thistle that's now like gone to seed, which is why, it spreads like crazy. But something that we did with those, we dug up all those roots, okay? So I'm going to take all of these fibrous roots and chop them in itty bitty pieces. I've already cleaned them. They've already been rinsed. All these are going to get chopped into small little pieces. And then I'm going to take these and turn them into a powder blend for spice blends and broth blends at the apothecary for the winter season, right? That way we have these amazing nutrients that we can use through the winter months also. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, so now that you know that you can take the roots, they pull right up out of the ground. They're super easy to pull up. I take them over to a garden hose, rinse them up, chop them up, and I'm going to let them fully dry, powderize them. That way I have all those rich minerals and those amazing prebiotic fibers that I can use through the winter. So this is so easy. If you have it, go out, chop it up. Be careful not to prick yourself. Get those in there. We are going to use some plantain. So these are the plantain seeds, okay? This is like nature's. We're going to talk about some variations of things you can do with this. So if you struggle with any type of constipation, okay, this is like nature's Metamucil. So we're going to get this in here. You could also add in, for that really dry tissue state, you could add in some marshmallow, right? If you're growing marshmallow, add in some marshmallow leaves in there. One of my favorite things is to always use plantain leaves, because all thistles help to support the liver. Your strongest, of course, is going to be your milk thistle, but all thistles are supportive to the liver. But your plantain leaves have a chemical in them called acubin. And acubin has been known to be even more hepatoprotective, which is liver protective, than actually similarian, which is what's in milk thistle. So then we're going to do some ginger. So this is going to be your base, right? And so let's say that if you were the opposite of constipation, okay, the opposite you would want to use if you were growing raspberry or blackberry leaves to throw in here, because they're astringent, right? So they're going to astringe that extra fluid throughout the bowel, where marshmallow or even okra would add fluid to a dry tissue state, okay? So we've got some good ginger in there for some spice. And then we're gonna do an apple. Apples are amazing. Of course, get them organic because they're highly sprayed with pesticides. But apples are really high in malic acid. They have phytoestrogens, which is great because you could, let's say that you are a woman who needs help with phytoestrogen support and you want to make like a PMS juice, right? So you could add these apples that have phytoestrogens and malic acid, so they're nice and detoxifying. And then you add some purple clover to that, right? Because it's really high in those phytoestrogens. And then yarrow. You add in yarrow because it's a styptic, so it helps with excess bleeding. So we're gonna do a lemon, and I'm gonna use the whole lemon because the limonene, those high concentration of essential oils, is in the skin. So we want that in there because limonene is also an essential oil that helps to support the liver detoxification pathway. Like, look at that. So all the people who hate on thistles, just learn how to use them. And then let's say you weren't feeling well and you felt like you were fighting a bit of a virus, right? You could throw in echinacea flowers. You could throw in fresh basil. There's so much you can do. And one of my other favorite plants that you could add in for like antifungal, you know, if you're having like eczema or psoriasis or a fungal based acne, you could add in some bee balm or monarda to this, which would be outstanding. And then you also, if you're having, you know, let's say something like irritable bowel disease, we could address those tissue states with this, okay? But then at the same time, we could add in some elecampane flowers, okay? Really high in essential oils this time of year. So what I want to do right now is put just a little bit of cayenne pepper in there to give it some heat. That's it. And then we're going to use coconut water. I like coconut water because it's really high in electrolytes and it has some fats in there. And then those fats help you to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins also. Get our cup of ice. Here we go. Oh, that smells so good. I have a cup of ice. At the apothecary, I like to make herbal infused ice cubes. So if you're in and you get herbal sodas or even herbal smoothies, you have herbal infused ice cubes and you probably don't even know it. But instead of using a juicer for obvious reasons, it would take forever and you would need so much plant matter. I like to just use a strainer. Oh, you can smell that ginger. And then my chickens are gonna love all of that. Which if you want, I mean, you could eat all of that. I just don't find all of the pulp super enjoyable, but I bet my chickens do. So we'll let them have that. But I want you to think about all the different variations of things that you can do with your gardens and the plants that grow in your yard. Seriously. We have so much medicine that grows all around us, from the so-called weeds beneath our feet that are most of the time more nutritious than anything you could ever buy at a grocery store. And sometimes even from your own garden, right? And then you have leaves on your trees, you have tree barks. This is what wild food nutrition is all about. And then customizing it and mixing it up all the time. But thistles are so high in nutrition. All thistles are. And so that way we can help to stop the spread because they're crazy opportunistic. But I want you to think about, all the things that our liver does and how much support that our liver needs, especially for our endocrine system, and how many people now have fatty liver disease. And I'll tell you, nature has the remedies for them. We just have to learn how to use this stuff so that we can actually start to heal ourselves. And this is how I work at the apothecary. We use wild food. But that way, hopefully you have learned how you can use thistle, all thistle. Instead of hating on it, actually start drinking it.